Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Kari and today I will talk about The House in the Cerulean Sea. This is my first book review on my channel. I'm very excited to do it and I hope you like it. So I read The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune and now I will talk about it with you. First, I will say what the book is about. And here we have our protagonist whose name is Linus Baker. He is a 40-something-year-old man and he has a very boring life. One interesting thing about his life is that he is a case worker in the Department of Magical Youth. One day he gets a classified task where he has to go to this small island to see an orphanage. In the orphanage they live very peculiar children. Well, all of the children that he has to deal with are magical, but these ones are kind of weird in the spectrum of magical children. We have a gnome, a sprite, a wyvern, an unidentifiable green blob, a were-Pomeranian, and the Antichrist. So Linus has to go to this island to check on the children and he starts discovering many things there. And also he starts getting to know the caretaker, whose name is Arthur. And Linus has to make a decision. He has to determine if the world is safe from the children because it is believed that they can bring the end of days. So that was all the premise and I was very intrigued with it. I wanted to read the book as soon as possible and I got Scribd a few months ago. Actually, it's kind of ending right now. I need to renew it. And I found this book there, so I listened to the audiobook. The first thing that I have to say about this is the expectation versus the reality, because my expectations were beyond the sky. Because everyone loved this book. Everyone was saying how amazing and great and heartwarming was this book, and in my opinion it wasn't that great. It is a good book, but it's not what everyone was saying, and I was so disappointed by that because I was expecting a 5-star book when it wasn't. The story feels like nothing huge is really happening. It feels very normal, very everyday life, even though this is a fantasy book full of fantasy creatures. So yes, I don't think this is a bad book. I think it's not as great as everyone say it is. Now the characters, in my opinion, are very forgettable. That's just how I saw it. I think that from the kids I only remember Talia and Lucy, of course, because Lucy had, you know, the most important arc on the book, like talking about the kids. I also remember Chauncey because he was so charming and cute, and I remember Sol because there was this beautiful story about him. But the rest of the children, I totally forgot even their names and what they did, although they had very distinctive personalities and they were very different from each other. I just forgot about them. I felt the book just gave some protagonism to certain characters, certain children, and the rest of them were just there and they just made jokes or funny comments, but they weren't very important at all for the story. One thing that I loved about this book, and that this is one thing that every review out there is right about, is the love story. The love story was so wonderful. If you don't like spoilers, you can go to this time of the video that I will put right here, because I don't think that these are major spoilers because the same description of the book says what's going to happen and you kind of think about that. But if you don't want to hear any kind of spoiler, you can skip to this part. So Linus and Arthur's relationship, it was a blast to read. It was amazing and so cute. I felt that from the beginning they kind of saw each other romantically, and then the tension was growing and the ending was so perfect for them. I love that. And I just could imagine them because they were so cute. They said many encouraging words, but they also opened each other's eyes in so many topics. They were great for each other because they made each other better, and that's one thing that I applaud to every book, a great romantic relationship, because there aren't many great ones. The setting and the writing style, writing the descriptions of the places was great in my opinion. It was very immersive, but at the same time it was quick to read. Like, I didn't feel it was very heavy or that it took too long. It was great. I think I was relaxed by the whole setting, as well as Linus, because he always used to say how relaxing the island was for him. The rest of the writing style style, I think it was great. It was clever and funny. It was very funny. It was always full of intention and full of great quotes. That's something that, in my opinion, is so great in books. Okay, so one thing that I didn't really like, as I said before, it was the pacing. And with this comes the lack of excitement. I think they made all seem very common-like, very everyday life things, when it should have been more magical, in my opinion. We have magical creatures, and these magical creatures are kids. So they are supposed to make, more chaos than what really happened in this book. I get if that was the point, like they wanted to reflect a world where magic was normal and common, so they wanted us to see the kids like in their real life, in their everyday lives, in school and hobbies and everything. And I get it, but I just needed more excitement, more magic on this story. But what I felt that was bad about this, about not many action things or magic, was because the premise was very misleading. In the premise, we learned that the kids could bring the end of days, that they are dangerous, and that Linus has to debate whether to actually save them or save the world, which is very dramatic. And nothing about that really happens. They made it seem like a life or death situation when it's not. That's mainly why I felt like the premise was misleading, and why I felt like I wanted to read more action and more magic and more, odds that they had to overcome. But instead it was more about the feelings and the personality and the development of the characters, which is great, don't get me wrong, but it's just, why do you put that on the premise? It was just for the fact that it was more exciting, but then the book didn't have that excitement. I want to end this review on a positive note, and that positive note was exactly what I said: the development of the characters, and especially the protagonist. Linus had a great development. What he was thinking at the beginning of the book and his whole personality was very different than what he was thinking at the end of the book, and that is great development. He learned from the things that happened, he learned from the people, he made connections, he saw the world through different eyes, and now he understood many things that were not important for him at the beginning. Lastly, I want to say that the message of the book was very great. I like it, but it wasn't my favorite thing ever, because I have already seen this development from other characters, from TV shows and other books, that I already knew how the thing was gonna play out. I wasn't very amazed by how it happened. I like that it happened with Linus, but I wasn't very amazed by it. As a conclusion, I can say that this book was very well written. It has a great protagonist that has great development throughout the novel, a beautiful setting and beautiful quotes, and a great message about life. I really hope you enjoyed this review. As I said, this was my first time making a book review. I tried not to give spoilers, but also give you a very complete view on the book, so you can decide whether to read it or not. And you can tell me if you agree with me about the things that I said about the book in the comments, or if you disagree as well, you can tell me in the comments and we can discuss. Thank you for watching. Please give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and subscribe to join the family. Remember that I upload content every week about books, movies and TV shows. Here on the screen are more videos that I recommend you to check out, and I will see you next time.